Hi, wild ones. I'm back from our big trip. And I wanted to show you where the journal is at right after the big trip. I didn't get some of the things I wanted to get done. I didn't glue in anything major. I ended up driving a ton on this trip, and it was an awesome trip. We had an amazing time. But just the workload of the trip took a lot out of me, but I'm super excited to show you what I've got so far and where I'm headed, because I tend to work on a sketchbook for maybe a few weeks after. Next week I'm going to an art camp, so I'm not even sure. I'm probably gonna bring it with me, but I'm not sure I'll get much work done next week. But I do love to kind of continue to work on it. So I'm going to hold some stuff up just because it's a little easier to see. I have a if found, please return. So I'm just going to cover that part up. But I have some free stickers we got from a few different places we visited. Went to the Prehistoric Museum and we stayed at the Apache Motel. And then this was the sticker that I had already purchased from a previous trip, so I stuck that in. Okay, this first sheet I'm gonna put in our route we took, but I wanted to do that when I got home, and I do want to actually map out mileage too we did each day. I have a little bit of a spot open still, so I'll probably add something there. I had a very cool little friend I met named Hunter, and he painted this for me. And then I found this stamp at the Elk Reserve, and I just thought it looked really good with Hunter's art, so I put it there. They're a little out of order because I kind of ran out of room in the back of the book first. So I have a few little pieces left to work on here. I probably will color this one in. The Old Saloon was a place we had lunch in Immigrant, Montana, right outside of Yellowstone Park. And there was some taxidermy there. I do love, if there is taxidermy available, I will draw from that because they hold really still. Evermore Park is in Pleasant Grove, Utah, and it's kind of like a permanent Renaissance fair or a D&D park. And they had these massive pumpkins, which were so fun. And a lot of people ended up dressing up. So I took and did some quick sketches of people who were dressed up and this really cool building. I need to still watercolor that in. Then we got to Arches National Park. I love getting the Arches tag, like the National Park stamp, and putting it on the book page before I even start working, so I can kind of continue to save that space or do it afterwards if the case may be. I kind of like them both ways, but the name of the movie there was called Windows in Time, and I actually drew this from a sculpture. I'm considering we never saw a bighorn sheep or ram. I sure have a lot of them in this book. This is from a sculpture right by the visitor center. When my kiddo was spending a little extra time in there, I just did a quick thing, and I love how it combines all three pages. And this part I haven't inked yet, but I did watercolor. This is the delicate arch, and I actually drew this and painted it plein air at site. And I do want to go over and ink it, and I probably will write some either some thoughts or some poetry about this landscape. I really was just so in love with it. went to Black Canyon, Colorado, and this is from the gift shop. This is a like bookmark from the gift shop, and it shows that really unique phenomenon of the daylight wall that we didn't get to see. It's called the dragon's tongue because of its fiery appearance. But I loved it, so I just picked it up at the shop. And this was the view, kind of the distant mountains and then a valley. And I used a pencil that's called like ink in a bottle pencil, and I forgot that it's very blue. I thought I was using black pencil, and then I went to put water on it, and I'm like, oh, blue, but I kind of like it. I did the same thing where I got the stamp, and then this was another view. Sometimes there's a couple stamps. This was the recreation area we were in, and then this was the actual national park that we were in. And I really love how you see like layers of the trip together. This is the wedding spread. I have not gotten very far on it. I sketched this shape out while I was on site, but I haven't put in the wedding arch yet and some of the things I want to do. But I'm hoping to get to that either maybe this weekend. We had a road closure on the side, and we had to sit on the side of the road for about 20 minutes. So it was a beautiful little kind of farmstead area in Colorado, and since we were sitting there for 20 minutes, I just pulled out my sketchbook and sketched this gorgeous fall valley. It was one of the places we saw the best fall color, and I definitely want to ink over the top of this, but haven't gotten to it yet. Sometimes you stamp stuff upside down. It makes you a little sad, but it happens. We went to the Wyoming, in Jackson, Wyoming, the elk refuge. I will probably put some writing around here and talk about like what we did in Jackson a little bit. And this is another one. We just were moving, so a lot of it isn't inked in yet, and I'm kind of okay with it. These were the many pinnacles, the Grand Tetons. In the Shoshone language was Tiwinot. And this is kind of a view of what we saw, which was driving towards them. They only came out about once. We had a lot of rain and snow mix on that day, and that was the first kind of really hard weather we had, and it was a big driving day. I also wanted to try my hand at some other types of art in this book, so I tried a buffalo in collage. He's okay. I'm not completely satisfied with him, but I really do love the grass. I think I did a great job on the grass, and this is from like a booklet. All the imagery came out of a book that I just picked up at the elk sanctuary. These were native rugs, I think, and I wanted his eyes and horns to look like that. Some more, they had a ton of really cool stamps at the refuge, so I put them all in. This was our last day in Yellowstone. This is one of the Mammoth hot springs area. So this is the town back here, and then this was a hot spring lake at the top of this really cool space. And I got to sit and do this plein air and talk to a few people. It's always, whenever you're drawing, you're gonna have people who stop you and talk to you. This was not the Grant Visitor Center. I did this actually in the Old Faithful Center, but I just wrote in there, it is drawn from taxidermy. This was a wolf that they had taxidermied there, and a raven, and I do like to get every stamp I can, so sometimes some of the pages have a couple stamps a piece. There's the Old Faithful. This was Artist Point paint pots. That was Artist Paint Pots, not Artist Point. It was a really fun stop. It did look like just boiling mud. It was amazing. And this is probably my bucket list item. I wanted to paint plein air at sunrise or sunset at Artist Point at the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, and accomplished. Not finished. I probably will add a couple layers to this, but man, did I have fun painting this. And it was sunset at Artist Point on October 13th in Yellowstone. And that one I didn't save a spot for. I actually ended up stamping this after the fact, and oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful moment. And my kiddo took some video of me, I think, painting at both Black Canyon and there, so I will make sure I add that to this video. And finally, the Old Faithful, the one that everybody loves to see. This is the Old Faithful eruption from our perspective. I wanted to write in what the eruption date is. I have never used these as places to kind of add detail to what's happening, but what a great way to do it. So this is where we're at so far. I also have a chunk of stuff, including the wedding invitation. This was a neat card that showed you when you held it up, if the whole animal is in the hole, you know you're close enough and not to get any closer. I thought that was a really, really cool card. I picked up business cards. This was a coaster at our hotel we stayed at. I have our packing list. I have some facts on bears and wolves. And I kind of love keeping this stuff in here because it's always fun to look at later on. There's a few more things I added to the envelope. This is a local artist named Serena Saplee that we saw her work at both Goblin Valley State Park and Arches National Park, and I just loved her work. I thought it was so indicative of the area, and I really wanted to spend some time looking at it. So I got a couple postcards. I was supposed to send one to my partner, but didn't happen. I might throw it in the mail here so he gets it later. And then I kept one to put in the book as well. The other thing I love to keep is anytime I get a little envelope or something from the hotel with my cards in it, I keep it because I might end up using it in the book to shove a little something in. I tend to keep straws on. I kept every straw we used, which was only about 5. We did pretty good this trip. I like to know how many we're using, and I also like to use those in art. So I kept those too, and I got a few more fun little finds. I definitely picked a bunch up off the ground, so I will make sure I show you those things later on too, and how I finish off the book. But it's probably going to take me another about week to finish the book off. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you get to see the first part of this video where I made the book as well. But I hope you got something out of this. My travel journals are usually pretty thin and pretty unique looking. I love to carry this around the park because people see it and usually smile. I know it's not perfect. It's not, I didn't spend hours and hours and hours of my trip doing it, but it did make my trip more meaningful, just putting a little bit of time into some memories. And I can't wait to really share this with the couple that got married, to share it with y'all and some of my other students I teach in person. I really think it shows that even just a little bit of creativity every day really can change the posture of your life. You notice more, you're grateful for more. Lunch at a burger place becomes lunch at a burger place and an awesome, taxidermy piece behind your kid. I would never want taxidermy in my house, but I can acknowledge that it's a skill. And it's so Montana. It just makes me smile so hard. And he said it was the best burger he's ever had. So that's always nice too. I really have been enjoying making these for you, and I hope to make many more. And I will come back once I've really polished this. That probably will happen at a coffee shop at some point, or sitting in a meeting waiting for something to happen. But as the week, probably the next week or two, I'll work on finishing it up, and then I'll be happy with it and leave it there. I will put a label on which parks we hit and what the date was and what we were doing. And we called this our epic wedding adventure. So I think for sure that's what we're going to call this book too. Take care of you and have fun creating. And I hope that you stay wild in your heart and stay wildly creative in your life. Please like and subscribe if you're interested. It's a new channel and I'm hoping to grow it. Take care.